Listen, have you ever asked yourself how to take $10 bills and turn them into $100 bills, or take hundreds and turn them into thousands, or take thousands and turn them into millions? Have you asked yourself, how do I get out of this $100 line? How do I get into the $1,000 line and beyond? You know, what if there was a way we can get on the other side of money and actually stay there and never go back to the small side of money? Well, in today's video, I'm not going to just show you one way. I'm going to show you 7 ways to go from being on the little side of money to being on the big side of money. So let's just get right to it. Okay. So the first idea about going from little money and getting to big money is to stop fishing in the small fishing pond of people and fish who aren't even hungry. All right. Let me put it to you this way. Jesus in the book of in the book of Luke, chapter 5, um, Peter and the guys are fishing, and he says, cast your net on the other side. On the other side. In other words, get on the other side of money. Why? Because where you're fishing at over there, there's no money. Well, the money is just small. You say, what do you mean? What do you mean, Brother Ricky? The money is just small. What I mean is that if you go if you go out and you go fishing, the bait is important. The line is important. But the most important thing in a fishing equation is hungry fish. You hear what I'm saying? You have people who go out and they fishing and they're hungry, but that's not the best. You ever go good morning, Shay. You ever go into a grocery store and you was hungry and you started putting everything possible into your cart? Why? Because you're hungry. But when you go shopping and when you go out fishing and you want to get from little money to big money, you don't go fishing and you're the hungry person. Why? Because the people that's supposed to be hungry are the fish, not you. You hear what I'm saying? So hungry fish is the number one way for you to go from being from little money to big money, because you're not fishing with fish. You're not the hungry person. The fish is hungry. All right. So if you got that, this is number one. Just put HF in the chat, because the number one way of getting from little money to big money is is going fishing, but the fish got to be hungry. All right. So put HF in the chat if you got that first idea, and I'll move on. I'll teach the second one. Today I'm teaching you 7 ways to go from having little money to having big money. 7 ways to get out of the little money line to get into the big money line. And the number one reason people got little money is because when you put your ideas out into the market, you put your ideas out, or people put their ideas out to the market, and they hungry. I'm like, no, 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 no. You're not supposed to be hungry. The fish are supposed to be hungry. And when you're messing around with fish that are not hungry, the only person hungry in that equation is you. And it looks like it. Why? Because, and you're going to have little money until the day you die. It's never going to go from little money to big money, because you have to deal with people that are hungry. And the people that are hungry, they'll gladly buy whatever it is that you're selling and moving, because they were hungry before you met them. Are you listening to me? When you go fishing, the fish were there before you got there. You hear what I'm saying? You don't go into a pond and all of a sudden a bunch of fish show up. You go to a pond that's already got a whole bunch of hungry fish. Are you listening to me? And then the fish, they come and they find your bait. You don't go looking for fish. They come and find your bait. So in life, you're not ever supposed to be looking, chasing, hunting down people. That is not the way the kings and queens behave. What we do is we make offers and we put them out into the marketplace, and the hungry fish, they come and find your offer. You hear what I'm saying? That's why this book is so good, The Wealth Formula, because my whole book is about how to draw hungry fish to you in the marketplace so that they're coming by whatever it is that you have. That's how I went from little money to big money. That's how I went from $100,000 a year to $1 million in one day. All right. Get off of the little money kick and get on the big money kick. But that means that the fish got to be biting and they got to be hungry. So if you haven't got my book, just put Wealth Formula in the chat and read it. Okay. So that's one way that you go from little money to big money. And if you haven't read the book, you ought to read it. It just came out. So most of you all probably never seen it in your life. And we're the first person in the world to create the wealth formula and actually put it into a book. I'm talking about the online wealth formula, making money in today's market. Today's market is different from yesterday. It's different than it was 5 years ago. It's certainly different than it was 10 years ago. And too many people are living a life that's gone. That life ain't never coming back. Okay. My book is $57. Most of y'all look at $57 and go off and start scrolling back on his phone, and start doing other stuff that don't make no money. When I got a book showing you how I went from making $100,000 in a year to making $100,000 in a day to making $100,000 in an hour to making $1 million in one day. And the formulas inside of the book. All right. I'm just a regular person just like you. But when I don't play games, when it comes down to this money, when it comes down to this money, I'm like, where is the money? All right, teach me where the money is. All right. I'm gonna learn how to draw people to me because I don't want to chase people around. Are you hearing me? I don't know, just put wealth formula in the chat. Okay? That's all. Just wealth formula. And a link will come directly to you. That's all you got to do is just comment wealth formula right here. All right, so that's way number one. Way number one is cast your net into the ocean, the river, the sea of hungry fish. Don't you ever leave a house hungry another day of your life because you're going to chase people and you will not get on the other side of money. I'm teaching you today 7 ways to go from little money to big money. Listen, big money has some rules, okay? And you're not going to get to this big money playing little money games, okay? So that's number one. Okay, number two is you want to recruit big money players. You say, what do you mean by that, Ricky? Listen, the people around you, they have to be big money players in order for you to go from little money and get over into the big money line. What do you mean by that? You take, for example, the Chicago Bulls. Back in 1984, the Chicago Bulls, they were playing small. Jerry Reinsdorf in 1984. And in 1984, that it was worth $16.1 million. He bought the Bulls for 16.1. They were worth $16.1 million in 1984. But they drafted who? They drafted Michael Jordan. Now they at the cellar and they losing games. They playing games in the NBA. They making little money. But it's time for them to start making big money. So they recruited a big money player, Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan comes to the team. They in last place. So Michael Jordan is so good until he starts practicing. He's the first person there. He's the last person to leave, but he's the best player. He's so good until he's playing on one in the scrimmage games. He's playing on one side, and they start winning by 20 points. And they say, "Okay, Mike, you switch and you get on the other side." He gets on the other side, and they still beat the team by 20 more points. He makes up a 40-point gap because he's so good by himself. He's a big money player. So what happened to the Bulls? Let me just read to you what happened to the Bulls. What they go from? They went from 16 million in 1984 to 165 million by 2013. Okay, the NBA went from 165 million in 1984 to worth 5.5 billion by 2020. I'm sorry, to be worth 414 million, I believe, by 2023. Okay. So no, 5.5 billion by 2023. Okay, the Bulls went up to 414 million. So they went from little money to big money because they got a big money player. But not only did they get one big money player, Jordan said, we're not gonna go from little money to big money until I get some teammates because I got some scrubs on my team. Let me show you, let me give you the Bulls roster in 1984. They had Michael Jordan, Orlando Woolridge, Quentin Daly, Dave Corzine, David Greenwood, Steve Johnson, Caldwell Jones. You're like, man, who's these guys, Rick? I never heard of none of these guys. Yeah, you ain't never heard of them because they was busters. All right, they were scrubs. All right, Jordan was on a team full of scrubs. Orlando Woolridge was the next best player. Look at the points per average. Jordan was scored 28. Woodard scored 22. Quentin Daly was scored 16. And then you got Dave Corzine. He averaged 8 points. David Greenwood, he averaged 6 points. You got this dude named Steven Johnson. He averaged 10 points. You got a cat named Caldwell Jones. He averaged 3 points. You got a dude named Enos Wadley. He averaged 5 points. A guy named Wes Matthews. He averaged 5 points. You got a cat called Jawan Oldham. He averaged 3 points. Sidney Green, he averaged 6 points. Rod Higgins averaged 4 points. Charles Jones averaged 2 points. And they had some dude called Chris Engler. He averaged 0.7 points. All right. Busters. All right. These cats ain't they wasn't gonna make no money playing with this scrub team. So you say, what are you talking about, brother? I mean, they stealing checks. Jordan said when he got to the Bulls, when he first came to the Bulls, he said they'd be smoking cigarettes and he said the assistant coaches would give him some cigarettes to smoke. At halftime, they drinking beers in the locker. Can you imagine that? Supposed to be a professional team? Scrubs, you're not gonna get on the big side of money having a little scrub team. All right. So you got to have some big money players with you. So Jordan, so they recruited Horace Grant, then they recruited Scottie Pippen, they got Bill Cartwright, and now they got a championship team. And that's why they went from having 16 million to being worth 414 million, because they got some big money players. So everybody put BMP in the chat, and I go on to teach the next point. That's number 2. If you want to go from little money to big money, you got to have some big money players on your team. Are you hearing me? You can't be the only big money player because you ain't winning no championships like that. And you're not going from little money to big money unless you got big money players. All right. So put BMP in the chat, and I'll teach you the next point. Okay. This is how I went from $100,000 a year to $1 million in one day, because I got big money players on my team. All right. My wife is my biggest money player. All right. Because she came along and she started working with what we were doing, and she's a genius. She's real smart. She's real good with IT, handles all that technical stuff. Boom. All right. I got big money players. I got one of the coldest ad cats in the world. He's so smart until he knows how to create AI that can talk back to your people just like it's you. All right. Big money players. I got a big money player from Nigeria, a young man that runs everything. And he's such a big money player until he's about to move on and do bigger things and have somebody to replace him. But they big money players. Are you hearing me? Everybody that I deal with are big money players. They all have the same attitude, the same temperament, the same disposition. We get it done. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And if you're gonna go from little money to big money, you got to have some big money players on your team. Are you hearing me? All right, that's number 2. All right, number 3. The third thing is you want to abandon, not defend, your small money. All right, abandon your small money. All right, so everybody put AI in a sheet, or ASM, abandon small money. All right, ASM, abandon it. See, the problem with people, why they can't come from the big money, the little money to the big money, is because they guard their little money. All right, but you want to abandon small money. ASM. Teach your kids and your colleagues and your friends these formulas. All right, because they'll stick in your head, and you'll stop having little money because you're like, you know what, we sitting around here guarding this little money because we so used to it, until when somebody comes in and give us some big money ideas, we get defensive. And I'm like, well, what are you guarding? All right, because when you win, you still lost. All right, you could take Brother Hastings. All right, he walks into Blockbuster's office. This happened back in 2000. Blockbuster is a big business. In 2000, Blockbuster was killing the game. All right, they got big money, but they are postured to get enormous amounts of money, but they happy with where they at. Why? Because this gentleman comes into their office and he says, listen, he said, I want to be your online presence. He said, let's start giving people subscriptions to watch movies. He said, because that's where I believe the market is headed. And they like, what? He said, prescriptions. He said, what, a membership? They're like, no, we just want people to come into the store and get their videos. Why? Because most of the time they return these things late. And we made $100 million a year on late fees. Anybody ever had a late fee with Blockbuster? Anybody else? Some of you young people, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all like, who? Blockbuster, Brother Rick? Who in the world is that? Yeah. You used to have to walk in a movie theater to get a movie. Anybody ever pay some late fees? Put me in a check. I say, anybody else other than me? Because I always forgot I had a video. I forgot about that all the time. Anybody else other than me? Put me in a chat. Or yes, if you ever had a late fee. You ever pay a late fee with Blockbusters? All right. I'm teaching y'all today the 7 steps on how to go from little money to big money. And right now I'm teaching you the 3rd step. And the 3rd step is don't abandon your small money and stop protecting it. Because when they said, listen, we make $100 million a year on people being late. I know, I hear you, Darren. It happened to me too. I hear you, Queen. I hear you, Tom. I hear you, Pistol. I hear you. Brother Tunsteel, I hear you. Melissa, I definitely hear you. Timothy, I hear you. No doubt about it. I hear you. I hear you, Lyrene. I hear you, Irene. I hear you. Prophet the Soul, I hear you too. All right, so we all contributed to Blockbuster's mammoth growth, quite frankly, because we were being late turning those videos in. But that's not a good business model. Why? Because you earning money as a result of another person's chagrin is not a sustainable business model. Why? Because people only keep kicking it with you because they are benefiting, not because you're benefiting. In other words, pimping people is not a good business model. All right? All right? All right, so everybody put MMP, no NMP in the chat. No more pimping. NMP, no more pimping. Yo, pimping is out of that stuff don't work. All right. Now you hear me pimping. Ain't nobody jam for that. Okay. No more pimping. All right. No more pimping. No, what is smart thing? Hold on a second. We got some mock on here putting something. Hold on a second. Hey man, if you ever come on the station, I'm calling somebody, pimp something. Hold on a second. Where's this dude? Don't ever come on here talking crazy. You don't know nothing about me. All right. All right. Hold on. I have to check these mocks when they come on here talking slick. All right. Okay, so I always have to double whenever you're teaching people stuff. They just come on here and say the first thing come to their mind. You just know that we ain't in a game, in a hustling game no more. And we ain't gonna come looking for you. So you just say the first dumb thing come to your mind. Disrespecting people. You disrespect, you dream about disrespecting me, you better wake up and apologize. Are you hearing me? We ain't no joke over here. This is the real deal, Holyfield. We Holy Ghost gangsters up in this piece. Don't come up here with your foolishness. All right. So I get rid of this dude. Hold on a second, y'all. One second. All right. Okay, so no more pimping. So Blockbuster. Block so Blockbuster is like, listen, so they ignored this man. So they threw him out the office. They say, we don't want to be bothered with you, man. You trying to mess up our pimping game. We got people paying us all this extra money. We got yachts and everything we created. What Blockbuster, they was defending their position. They didn't like the fact about they don't like this, they don't like that, they don't like this, they don't like that. They don't like the fact that somebody is what? That they winning while other people are losing. So that's not a good business model. And it's small money. You make a little money for a little while because what? People go along with that stuff for a little while, but ain't nobody with good sense gonna keep GM for that. I hear what I'm talking about. So Mr. Hastings, he said, okay, that's okay. I just go ahead on and I do this business anyway. His name is Reed Hastings. So what company did he start? Because Blockbuster defended their position. What company did Mr. Hastings start? Y'all put it in the chat so I can make sure y'all paying attention to this story. Okay? All right, come on. Tell me what happened. All right, go ahead, put it in the chat. What company did Mr. Hastings start? Let's see if we got any business people around here. What company? All right, you got it right, Joseph. All right, let's go. You got it right, Joseph. Come on. Y'all jump in that cab. All right. All right, y'all jump in that cab. All right, y'all jump in that cab. Jump in that cab. What? All right, jump in that cab. All right, jump in that cab. You say his postcard. Okay. I don't know. Okay. All right, I think I got it together now. All right. So Netflix. So Netflix is the company that that Reed Hastings started. So Reed Hastings goes on to make billions of dollars. But where's Blockbuster? Blockbuster right now is, a company at a pet. It ain't even in business no more. Why? Because their they defended their weak position that they had. They could have made a lot more money. They could still be relevant today. But I'm telling you right now, if you're going to go from little money to big money, if you're going to stay relevant, then you got to do what? You got to be you got to you have to take the attitude that, you know what, I can do better than what I'm doing right now. There, I have not arrived. I'm going to hand a referee the ball. I'm gonna line up. I'm gonna anticipate what's coming up next, and I'm gonna do what's relevant. You can't make money go from little money to big money doing stuff that was happening yesterday. That's why I teach y'all about digital marketing on a regular basis. That's right. You have to adopt, all right, or adapt. Right. You have to adapt because that old fashioned stuff don't work. I hear me? The Flintstones, that stuff doesn't work. And so people wonder why they ain't got no money. I'm like, well, you're doing stuff that's irrelevant. The stuff you're doing is not today's market. The things that you're doing, you're in another world. Okay. And you want people to to agree with you. See, when I meet people and I see their country as hell, I'm like, me and you are going to clash. All right. I say the reason that we're going to clash is because just put real estate in the chat if you want that link in that class to come to you, Brother Stevenson. I say to me, the reason me and you are going to clash is because I live in a real world. You live in a fantasy world. You live in a broke world that's gone by forever. And that world ain't never coming back. And you just don't want to learn how to do things. That's why I was telling y'all, I think it was in my last live, I was telling y'all about Tesla, for example. Tesla is so undervalued right now because they always doing stuff. They just created a super computer that normally take you about 3 or 4 years to do. They just created it in days, a supercomputer that they got. And it's so much. That's why I'm investing in Tesla for one thing. When I tell you about that, I got nothing to gain by y'all doing it. I'm just telling you things that I'm doing. But one of the reasons I'm doing it is because to get big money, you got to anticipate what's about to take place. You can't keep doing the stuff that was months ago or years ago or down the road. And I'm telling you right now, people are extremely arrogant. People are hard-headed. You tell them that, hey, your stuff is antiquated. Your stuff is a time that's going by, and they get mad at you and they want to fight. You hear what I'm saying? They want to put their dukes up and all that. I'm like, look, you're wanting to fight don't make you nothing but a broke punk. All right? Because first of all, ain't nobody afraid of you. Second of all, what you're doing is retarded. That stuff don't work no more. And just because you angry because somebody is teaching you the reality, what's going on right now, and you want to defend that position, I'm telling you, broke people are very arrogant people because they like to defend their position and then they want to get tough with you, right? Because why? Because you telling them what they don't want to hear. That's why the, that's why when Jesus came along and started preaching, them Pharisees, they don't want to hear that stuff. They got so mad at Stephen when Stephen got through telling them about the way they was acting until they actually went and bit Stephen. You dig what I'm saying? Hit him in the head with rocks and chased him down. What? Defending a little weak position when Stephen was telling them, hey, y'all need to get rid of y'all little self-righteous ways because y'all about to bust hell wide open. You dig what I'm saying? He like, y'all need to follow the savior that just came along here because y'all buck wild and out of control. They don't want to hear that because that's the way people are when they defend their positions. And I'm telling you, in the marketplace, it just does not work. You hear what I'm saying? So what's your question here? Replays of the past class. Oh, just watch my videos on YouTube. YouTube got all my videos. You just watch all my free stuff on YouTube and make a lot of money. Okay, you ain't got to pay me for no classes. If you go watch them YouTube, all my free videos on YouTube, you make a lot of money. All right, if you do it, if you practice the stuff we're talking about. Okay, so that's the second thing. The second thing or the third thing is don't defend your weak position. Don't defend your broke position. Just stop it. Okay. Just humble yourself and be like, you know what they telling me it cut, but it's supposed to cut. Just think about it. It's Rick the Wealth Coach on YouTube. Rick the Wealth Coach on YouTube. So so what? So you say, so why do people do that so much, Ricky? Well, people don't like to do real work. You hear what I'm saying? Real work is the work of thinking. But most people don't like to think. Most people just like to do what it is that they've been doing, what they used to do. But when it comes time to think and move around and come up with ideas and strategies, most people don't think. They just think they're thinking because somebody told them what to think. So they put their thoughts into your head and you think you're thinking, but more often than not, you're not. Because if you was thinking, you'd be making a lot of money because God will reward the thinker, the person that actually puts his mind into what it is that they're doing. God will reward you and reward you big. You'll make big money. Well, I'm telling you, I make big money because I'm a big thinker. I got ideas. I got ideas that come in about a minute. I have to ask God to slow my brain down so I can just get some sleep. Are you hearing me? Which leads to number four. Number four, the reason that I got big ideas is because I'm a big giver. So if I was you, if you want to get out of that little money, I would get on the side of big money, become a big giver. You say, what do you mean, Ricky? I mean, look, I don't go no place I have no change. Okay. No change. I got no change. Why? Because everywhere I go, if I see somebody that's homeless, then normally I don't have to ask me for nothing. I'm gonna cut them off first. Why? Because I used to be homeless, but I had $50 in a hotel room in 2009. I ain't stupid. I am not stupid. I ain't even slow. I know what. I know that God, He gives big to people who give big. So I ain't got no change. Why? Because what? I don't want to get a person no dollar. I don't want to give them no $2 bill. I don't want to give them no $10 bill. I want to give them at least $100 bill. Why? Because I don't want nothing. I don't want little money. And I know if I'm gonna have big money, then everything I do got to be big. So I'm not doing no small stuff. Now you say, Brother Ricky, that's just over the edge. See, what's over the edge is having little money because you just ain't got time for that. And being in the itty bitty committee and acting like you did somebody a favor because you walked up to them and gave them $1 and they so doggone hungry. Me and Shantae we was in Orlando a couple of weeks ago, and this dude was literally eating out of the garbage can. So I grabbed him and say, ho, 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 ho. Say, come on, bro. So I took him on over to Golden Corral. We right next to the Golden Corral. So I grabbed the brother and said, come on over and let's get something to eat. So the brother, he smelled so bad, I almost fainted just walking with him. Come on, baby. I almost fainted just walking with him a couple of feet. But I didn't think I was too good for that brother. Oh, no, 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 no. I used to be a homeless player. All right, I don't play that. All right, and I don't watch homeless people walk by me and give them no little dollar to. I make sure that they get at least $100 bill so they go do something with that for a minute, maybe get a good night's rest or something like that. So we went inside the place to get something to eat. When we went to the place to get something to eat, of course, he don't smell good, So we get up to the counter and I tell the lady, I said, she said, all right, I told her I wanted something for this brother, and she was like, oh, are you paying for him? I was like, yeah, I'm paying for him. What you mean am I paying? Why you say it like that? I mean, you ain't no better than him just because you got on some good clothes and you ain't stinking right now. Ain't nobody no better than nobody else. All right. So move around with all that. You dig what I'm saying? Ain't nobody no better than nobody else on the face of God's green earth. We all just some chewed up grass. It ain't gonna be long before we back in the ground. You hear what I'm talking about? Make your days and your minutes and everything count. And I'm talking about if you want to go from little money to big money, stop being so doggone cheap with the way you deal with people. Are you hearing me? And all this religious stuff on your knees praying to God all day and praying to God all night. And then you just walk right by people like they don't even exist. Now that religious stuff don't mean nothing. That ain't impressing God. But God is like, if you love me, take care of the person that's right in front of you. And then I can see how much you love me because the way you treat the person that's right in front of you. If you don't want to treat that person right, then move around because God is not impressed. Are you hearing me? And anybody's got some good sense ain't impressed either. Yeah, baby. So so they was looking at the guy all like that. So, when I gave him when he got his bill, I told him, "Now you keep the change, bro. Now I know $100 ain't. I know it ain't. I know it ain't about to go buy no building with that. At least he feel good for a few minutes. At least he got some dignity for a few minutes. So that's why I don't carry no change." He said, "Well, brother Ricky, if I had your money, then I would do that too. No, but you ain't listening to me. All right, because that's how you get the money. You don't get the money and then start giving it. You start giving the money and then it gets bigger. Did you hear what I said? You want to give until it's convenient, but that ain't how I go. You just be glad that you got something to eat. You hear what I'm saying? Um, and that if the next person ain't got nothing to eat, then you make sure they got something to eat. Not no little $5 and $10. And stop running around talking about what they gonna do with the money and all that kind of stuff. That's why you got such small amounts of money. You're on the little side of money because you're trying to figure out what's going on with people, sizing them up and all of that. And that's a judgmental spirit. And people with judgmental spirits ain't coming out of that little money over to no big money. I'm telling you how I came from being homeless to being a multi-millionaire. I'm not guessing. Okay. I'm not telling you maybe kind of sort of stuff that worked. You hear what I'm talking about? And that's so right. Maybe you could have been entertaining an angel unaware. And the people are angels. All right. So, that's pretty much what our life is about this giving thing. So give big and then you get big ideas. But more important than a big idea, you'll get big courage. So everybody put BC in chat. Put BC in the chat. You'll get big courage because the idea don't mean nothing if you don't do nothing with it. Man, please, people talk about it all the time. I got an idea. I got an idea too. I got an idea. I got an idea too. Well, you ain't did nothing with the idea. So the idea don't mean nothing if you don't do nothing with it. You want big courage. Are you hearing me? That's why a lot of y'all don't even come on here and talk. Just like we just had this little peon on here talking crazy. Talking about I owe them some money. Matter of fact, I believe the person that put that on there, I think they owe me some money. I'm pretty sure they do if it's the person I'm thinking about. Because they was talking slick one day in one of my chats. And I was like, don't get me twisted, player. I say I'm saved and holy and all this sort of thing, but I am not a punk. All right. I am not a punk. I'm not kissing your butt. I'm not trying to acquiesce to you. I don't like you, don't like me, and I don't like you. That make two of us. I hear what I'm talking about. Y'all stop acting like y'all, but that y'all cool with folk you ain't cool with. I hear you ain't gonna be cool with everybody. Matter of fact, the Bible say, "Woe unto you, and all men speak well of you." I mean, you're a punk. That mean that you go along with anything. A butt kisser. I don't get out like that. I don't like the taste of butt. I don't like it fried, crooked side, baked, sauteed, grilled. I don't like the taste of nobody's booty, and I'm not kissing nobody's butt. Are you hearing me? And you got out there, and we start talking about this money, and you get down this money game, you're running all kind of crooks. Yeah, want to be gangsters. I'm like, get your little poo butt, punk butt. Hey, you ain't nobody afraid of you. Are you hearing me? You need courage to get big money. That's why y'all don't be. That's why you don't be on here telling your stories. First little person say something, talk slick to you. You just pack your bags and go back to the crib. Why? You need big courage to make big money. Are you hearing me? Big courage. You a man of God. You a woman of God. Don't be afraid of these little poo butts. All right? I ain't talking about nothing. I ain't hear what I'm talking about. Stopping you from all of that grace you got. Stopping you from all of that goodness inside of you. Stopping you from all of that giving inside of you. What? What? Because they what? Because they jealous of you. That's why they can't put cheese on a Whopper. You hear what I'm talking about? Can't bust a grape in a tractor. You dig what I'm saying? Blocking you. I mean, I'm the demons and devils and warlocks at real low places. I rebuke all that mess in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. Are you hearing me? You better go ahead on with your life. You ain't finna get no two lives. It's the only life you're gonna ever live. Whatever you're gonna do, baby, you need to get to doing it. And once you start giving big, God will give you big courage. Are you hearing me? You'll be able to do things that you've been talking about for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Running around the mulberry bush talking about what you're going to do. Yeah, what you're going to do ain't nothing if you what? Until you start giving. Because why? When you start giving, that's when God give you the courage. The reason you ain't got the courage is because you ain't giving. It ain't coming from nowhere else. Are you hearing me? I'm talking about how to get from little money to big money. The way that you get big money is you get big courage. Are you hearing me? And you'll get big courage if you start giving to people big. Why? Because God will just give you the courage. Listen to me. You like, man, I need some courage. I'm like, you ain't gonna get it till God give it to you. He's like, what? You mean God got to give me some courage? Yes, because every good and perfect gift, it comes from God. And courage is a gift. Are you hearing me? Uh, that's why you ain't doing your videos. That's why you ain't wrote your songs. That's why you ain't wrote your books. I'm writing. Listen to me. I'm writing a book every 2 months for the rest of my life and releasing it. Are you hearing me? The book I'm writing right now is called Humble Aggression. That's the book I'm writing right now while I'm on the road. Humble Aggression. You say, why are you writing that, Ricky? Because I'm like, people ain't humble because they're not aggressive. They're like, what do you mean? I don't even make sense. I'm like, oh, you're not humble unless you're aggressive. You say, I'm a very humble person. I'm like, if you're a punk, you are not humble. Okay. If you're a coward, you are not humble. All right. If you won't put your stuff out into the marketplace, you are not humble. You are bashful. You are shy. Okay. You are withdrawn. But God is commanding you to come out the witness protection program. Your voice got to be heard. Are you listening to me? All these people out here talking crazy ain't talking about nothing. And here you are with all that goodness gushing inside out of you because you got good sense because God taught you good sense. But you ain't using it. But the reason you ain't using it is why? Because you ain't giving enough. Because you are not going to get from God what you're supposed to get from God until you start giving the way God told you to give. You're going to be walking around in circles for the rest of your life with playing games with them little twos and fews and that little dollar line. And I'm teaching you today 7 ways to get out that little line. 7 ways. And a fourth way is be a big giver. God will give you big courage, and then you'll be able to get on the other side of big money. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, the next one, number 5, is make some trust deposits if you want to have big money. Stop depositing money in your bank as a regular bank deposit because you ain't getting none of that money back. All right, Shantae's check for 2022 was $1,042,000 from the Department of Treasury. That's a big money check. You say, why is that? Because she put $96,000 into her ministry trust. She got $76,000 worth of interest on her account just because they took them 13 months to send it back. When you get a trust check sent back to you, they got to pay you interest for every day that they hold onto your check. So we was hoping we get it in 3 years. Well, what the heck? We would have been happy if it took 5 years. Why? Because eventually they got to release it. And when they release it, You got interest on your money every day. Imagine that. See, y'all get on. See, you used to being on this side of the money, where you the one that's paying all that interest, just like your mortgage account. You paying 3 times what it costs to buy the house, little rinky-dink gingerbread house, and it costs you paying 3 times what it costs to pay for it with that illegal mortgage that the bank didn't even sign, and even a legal contract. Are you hearing me? But on the little side of money, you used to being the one that's getting pimped. But on the big side of money, then they have to acquiesce you because your paperwork is right. All right. Because it takes too long for y'all to make money in these little slow bank accounts. All right. It's just too doggone long. There ain't no big money in that. You did all that hard working for the money. So that means that you worked real hard for somebody to get the money. And then you took it to the bank and you started working for them. So you got two employers. You got the person who employed you and gave you them little checks that take forever to get. Then you went to the bank and gave them the money. So now, and you ain't got no deal with the bank to get none of your money back because you ain't got no trust. All right. You walking in with a regular account and you ain't got no trust. You say, that's great, brother Rick. Really appreciate you telling me that. I'm going to the bank tomorrow to open me up a trust account. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Because you don't even know you don't even understand how to set up a tax-free trust. You got to come to that challenge to do that. So just put challenge in the chat and just stop wasting time and come to the challenge so we can at least give you 5 days to teach you how we operate. And then you can decide if you want to operate with us because we teach you how to operate out of a trust for an entire year. All right. So just put challenge if you have never been to our challenge in the chat as we speak today. The next one starts at the beginning of December. So that's how you learn. You say, Brother Rick, I want an appointment with you. You might think you want an appointment. It's $50,000 for an hour to talk to me. Don't it just make more sense for you to come to the challenge? That's what, anywhere from $97 to $597 to come to the challenge. Cheap as hell. And you can sit down for a whole week and learn what's going on. Are you hearing me? But don't come to my challenge acting like you did me no favor. All right. I got a guarantee in the challenge. And that's that if you don't like what you heard and you've been there 5 days and you had your camera on, because we can verify it. Why? Because we got a whole team that's looking at everybody, taking pictures to make sure who's paying attention and stuff. Because you can't even sit my challenge without your camera on. I just give you your money back because I'm like, man, I don't want to be bothered with you. We over here talking about millions of dollars, and you over here doing 2 things at the same time, unless you at work and you send a message saying I'm on a plantation, Ricky, and I can't be looking at this camera. Well, I'll accept that because can't nobody you got to go to work until you can do better. I understand that, but I don't let people play with me. I'm like, look, you might like me, you might not, but I like me. So it don't matter to me whether you like me or not. Are you hearing me? Everybody put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put the exact word in there. If you like yourself, put I like me. All right, spell it out. Okay? Put it in the chat and let the whole world know that you like you. You don't need nobody to like you. You like your own self. Everybody put it in the chat. I like me, and I teach you the next point. All right. Do you like yourself? I said, do you like yourself? I like me. I like Brother Ricky. If you like Brother Ricky, that's your business. All right. But I like Brother Ricky. I don't care if you like me or not. That's up to you. All right. Matter of fact, I love me. All right. I love it. And if I was you, I'd put it in the chat. Speak over yourself. Got all these devils and demons intimidating you and all that sort of thing. You don't need nobody to love you. Love yourself. All right. And like yourself. All right, hear me? If they like you, that's their business. If they don't like you, but I'm telling you how to get on the big side of money. Because on the small side of money, it's based on whether or not somebody else like you, or based on whether or not somebody else love you. And you paralyzed like I don't know what, because you can't get up and go do nothing because you're too busy worrying about being liked and worried about being loved. I'm like, get over them demons. Those are demons, devils. Those are dark places. Are you hearing me? That stuff is depressing. I got to wait till you like me in order for me to put something into the marketplace. Man, you better miss me and move all the way around. Now you hear what I'm talking about? And I speak over your life, the ability for you to be able to love yourself. Are you hearing me? Bible say, love your neighbor the way you love yourself. I don't know where you're going to love your neighbor. You don't even love yourself. Are you hearing me? I treat everybody get around me like Fort Knox Gold because I treat myself like Fort Knox Gold. So if you get close to me, I'm going to treat you real good too. See, the problem with people is they don't like themselves. So they get around you and they expect you to have the same attitude towards you that they got towards themselves. See, they don't like themselves. So they don't like you either. All right. But listen, anybody got control over you liking them or you loving them? See, I love everybody. There's a whole lot of people I don't like, but I ain't got to like you. I just got to love you. And I love you because it's a privilege to love you. That's why I tell y'all all the time, I love you and ain't nothing you can do about that. Excuse me. And why? Because God is love. And if you, whatever you're doing, if love ain't the motivation, It's a complete waste of time because it's a real boring way to live your life. You know, a lifeless way to live. It ain't no life without love. Are you hearing me? But I do not have to like an individual. And when I don't like you, I tell you to your face I don't like you. Then I tell you why. Most of the time because you think you nickel slick. Most of the time because you be trying to punk people. I don't like people who try to intimidate people. And I tell them, you a punk. You ain't tough. All right? You's a punk is what you are. You run around here trying to intimidate folk and make them do what it is you want them to do. And you're a liar and you're sneaky and you're manipulative and you be trying to intimidate folk into taking your position and all that. Why? Because you're a buster. And I don't like busters. You did. I love you. So it is what it is. So take that attitude into the marketplace and you'll go from little money to big money. You hear what I'm saying? I'm putting big money into the atmosphere today because I see big money in your life. All right. But there's some things you're going to have to change if you're going to go from little money to big money. All right. And being a big giver is one of them. And making trust deposits is one of them, because when you make the trust deposits, your money come back to you because you're not depositing money as a debtor. You're depositing money as a creditor. You say, I don't know how to become a creditor. Come to the challenge and learn. All right. Okay. I'm not going to teach. I can't teach you all that stuff in these sessions. But that's all we talk about in the challenge is how to make money, how to manage it, how to multiply it. Those are three things we talk about. Then we got a year-long program to teach you how to live the way that we live. We ain't in no hurry. You might be in a hurry, but we ain't in no hurry. You say, Ricky, I don't want to be in no year-long program. So okay, then don't get in it. All right. You just ain't gonna get none of this money. Keep messing around with your little money. Live the way you want to live. All right. But you ain't gonna change our culture because we're not in no hurry. The scripture for all of y'all to get is Proverbs 21:5. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but to everybody that is hasty, only to want. We're about to leave here and go to we're in Washington, D.C. today. So we're about to leave here and go to the Black History Museum. We ain't gonna be in no hurry. Why? We going because it take a while to find out things. My daughter Shayna told me, she said, Dad, you're gonna be in there for at least 3 to 4 hours, but it ain't gonna seem like it. I said, I believe you, because we're not gonna be in no hurry. So if you're in a hurry, you're in the wrong joint. Okay. So if you want to learn what's going on, come to the challenge. And then after the challenge, you can decide whether or not you want to learn what else it is that we do. That's the protocol. If you don't like the protocol, don't come. All right. And teach people what your protocol is. If they like it, tell them cool. If they don't like it, tell them cool. Right? Because they ain't got to do what you're doing. I ain't never trying to make nobody do what I'm doing. All right. It's up to you. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5, really, got to make trust deposits. And then number six is theory of mind. All right. Theory of mind. That's number 6. All right. So theory of mind, or TOM. All right. Tom. Theory of mind. So put TOM in the chat and I'm going to teach you what this is. Theory of mind is, I got 2 more things to teach you. Okay. Theory of mind, Tom, TOM. Let me make sure y'all paying attention. And I'm going to teach you how to this is how you get your mind on the other side of money. Get your mind from off the little side to the other side. Y'all ready for this? All right. All right. Plan Daddy. All right. I'm going to teach you. Plan Daddy. All right. I'm going to teach you. Okay. MB Trust, Private Trust. I'm about to teach you. Okay. Keith, I'm going to teach you too. All right. Brother McNeil, I'm about to teach you that. Organic Paradise. I'm about to drop it like it's hot. All right. Tom, I'm about to teach you. Clara. All right. Brother Tunsteel. All right. Who else wants to know? Put Tom in the chat. I'm going to teach you theory of mind. And this is going to get you on the other side of money, because you got to get your mind right to be on the other side of money. So theory of mind is it's really simple. It means think from the other person's side when you're doing these deals. Theory of mind. What do they have to gain? What do they have to lose? What's important to them? Not what's important to you, what's important to them. Now, of course, you got what's important to you, but the problem with people is that they don't know what's important to the person that they're dealing with. That's why they mess around with little money, because they cannot have big money because they don't know what's going on inside the other person's head, because it's not important to them. What's important to the average person is what's going on in their head. I'm like, but what's going on in your head ain't going to change your money situation. What's going to change your money situation is when you learn what's going on in your counterpart's head. Are you listening to me? So y'all want an example? Y'all want an example? Put example in the chat and I give you an example. Y'all want an example? Can I give you an example of going from little money to big money? Can I give you a real life example? Okay, put example in the chat. All right. And I talk about this example in my book again too. So I'm telling y'all, it's a good book. You say, Rick, you just trying to promote your book. I'm trying to help you save yourself a whole bunch of time wasting your time so you can get from little money to big money, because the wealth formula is in this book. And I'm going to show you an example that's in my book. All right, y'all want to hear an example that's in the book? All right, the wealth formula. If you don't have the book, just put wealth formula in the chat and get it and read it. Okay, just a wealth formula. Just it's only been out a couple of days, so most of the things you'll learn, most people never seen this because they never read this book. So put wealth formula. Just put it in the chat. The wealth formula, and then you'll automatically get the link. All right. So here's one of the examples that I put in my book, and I was talking about theory of mind in my book. So theory of mind means you get out of your head and you get into the head of your counterpart and you think from their perspective. So I was calling somebody to see if they wanted to sell a house, because I buy and sell houses. That's one of the things that we do. So I called this referral that I got, and when they picked up the phone, I said, hello. They said, I said, is this Jackie? She said, yes, this is Jackie. I said, hi, my name is Ricky. I said, I was calling you because I see you have a house that looked like you might want to sell it. She said, Ricky, everybody calls me about that house every day, and I'm not really looking to sell a house. I said, okay. She said, I just want to fix it up because my husband passed away. I said, great. She said, Ricky, I've been fighting cancer for the last 15 years, and God is so good that I'm still alive. I said, that's awesome, sis. She said, not only that, I'm the pastor of a church now, and I used to be in a penitentiary. I said, that's even more awesome, sis. I said, what's the name of your church? She told me the name of her church. So now I started laughing because I said, Jackie, I've been in your church I don't know how many times. You're talking to Brother Ricky Williams. I done sang at your church I don't know how many times. She said, what, Brother Rick? So now we just started having a great time. So we get to talking and stuff. And I said, God bless you. I love you. We ended up praying on the phone, having a good time. We weren't talking about no house no more. Why? Because it wasn't important to her to sell our house. So it wasn't important to me no more. What was important to her is what was important to me. I wasn't interested in our house no more because she wasn't even talking about our house no more. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And are y'all getting what I'm saying? Theory of mind. If you haven't put it in there yet, put TOM in the chat so you can see what I'm talking about. Theory of mind. I wasn't thinking about me. I was thinking about what she was talking about. I totally forgot about our house. I totally forgot what we was even talking about because it didn't mean nothing no more. She talking about fighting cancer. She talking about her life. She talking about this. She talking about that's what meant something. It wasn't about the house no more. Okay, so we hung the phone up and she called me back in a couple of months, and we started talking. And she said, Brother Rick, she said, I want you to come and get this house. I said, Jackie? She said, yeah. I said, Jackie, I'm confused. What you mean come and get your house? She said, come and get it. I'm just going to give it to you. I said, Jackie, that's not how we do business. I said, where we do business this week. She said, no, Ricky, she don't know. So you don't really understand. I'm about to lose the house in a tax sale. I can't fix that house. She said, so just come and get it. I'd rather you get it than I lose it in a tax sale. I said, okay. So I came and she gave me the paperwork. I went home and I lost the papers. All right. I couldn't even find what I did with them because I was busy. I just forgot I'm absent-minded. So I misplaced the papers. I called her back. I was embarrassed. I said, hey, Jackie, I said, don't laugh at me. I'm getting old. I said, I don't even know what I did with the papers you gave me. She said, don't worry about that, Brother Rick. She said, I got some more. They already signed. This woman gave me her house twice. Did you hear me? Everybody put 2 times in the chat. When you get theory of mind correct, theory of mind, and you stop this thirsty behavior and you stop trying to figure out what's going on with you while you're talking to somebody and you figure out what's going on with them, that's how you get from little money to big money. Everybody put 2 times in that chat. She gave me a house twice. You can be so slow that you can lose some people. You can lose the paperwork and still get a house. You hear me? You can be so absent-minded because, I lay down glasses and stuff. If it's your stuff, I won't lose it. But if it's my stuff, sometimes I forget. But God's so good until He'll give you 10 of everything when you get theory of mind, right? When you stop thinking about you. I wasn't thinking about it. When she called me back, I forgot about the house. I wasn't talking about no house no more. She had to call me and remind me. Are you hearing me? So, so I sold her. I got the house. It had almost $400,000 worth of liens against it. But God blessed me to get all the liens off the house except $40,000. Why? Because of theory of mind. Because I was thinking about her. When I went into the place to get to see if they could help me get the liens off of Jackie's house, because she just quit claiming the property to me. Now I got a property, but I got almost $400,000 worth of liens against it. So I'm like, okay. But so I said, I wonder if somebody knows how to quiet this title. So I remembered that we had already did a probate deal with a lady who helped us to get the probate title straightened out. So quiet title. So everybody put QT in the chat because when you're dealing with real estate deals, sometimes you need to quiet the title. All right? So put QT in the chat. Okay, quiet. So when you want to quiet it, this is very important that you understand what this term means. So put QT in the chat, and I'm going to teach you what it means. All right. So this is what Jackie told me too. She said, Ricky, she said, you get all this stuff off this house because you blessed. This is her talking to me. All right. This woman got cancer and she blessing me and her house blessing me, telling me how things gonna be okay. So she like, you gonna get all that off. She said, because you blessed, bro. She said, ain't it? She said, you gonna be able to get that title quieted. So I went to the lady, but I'm still thinking theory of mind. So when I walked in, the lady's name was Mary. That was my mother's name, Mary. So she reminded me of my mother. And so I said, Mary, I heard that you can quiet a title. She said, I've been doing that since 1982. I said, that's phenomenal. I said, okay, so can I, and, I'm gonna come on by and let's see if you can do this. So I got to thinking about it. I said, before I go see Mary, she's probably thirsty like I am. She probably wants some coffee just like I want, probably. So theory of mine, I wasn't thinking about me, I was thinking about her. So I went to Starbucks and I ordered a tall white chocolate mocha with soy milk and no whipped cream, like I always order for myself. So I ordered Mary one too. Then when I walked in, there was a young lady named Ebony that was behind the counter. So the young lady was like, I said, is Mary here? And she said, yeah, she's here. I said, what's your name, young lady? She said, my name is Ebony. Why? Because theory of mind. Theory of mind is that when you come in and you speak to people, you don't act like they just a statue. You learn what their name is. So the next thing that you say, you can actually be saying the person's name as opposed to just talking to them like they some type of chalk on the wall or something like that. That's what theory of mind makes you a lot of money. It takes you from the little money to the big money because you're acknowledging people like human beings because that's who we are. We are human beings and we all want to be acknowledged and should be acknowledged, and it should be just the way that we live. But most of the time, everybody interested in that money. So you're so interested in that little money until you can't even play it off. This is not something that you can do. You can be one way with your life and then come in and be this way when it comes down to money. It's not going to happen. That's why I'm teaching you the mindset of millionaires. And I'm teaching you why people got so much money and other people ain't. All right. Because they ain't thinking about the other person. They thinking about them and can't even play it off. Are you hearing me? So when I went in, and but I said, is this Mary? And so Ebony, I said, thank you, Ebony. I said, Mary. She said, hey, Ricky, are you Ricky? I said, yes, I am. I said, I'm going to tell you, Mary, the changes I've been going through. Trying to get this coffee to you. So everybody's laughing now. What theory of mine? Because I'm like, let's have some fun this morning. All right. Let's have a good atmosphere that we walk into. Let's enjoy this potential business relationship that's about to take place. So I gave Mary the coffee. We started talking a little bit about business. I said, so who runs the office in there? She said, it's my friend Inga. I said, Inga is the lawyer that runs this office. I said, okay. I said, where is he? So I went to the back and I said, hey, Inga, how you doing? She said, I'm doing great. I said, what do you do? I said, other than, they get these titles quieted. She said, well, I'm a judge too, Ricky. She said, and I always got these kids coming in front of me who always getting in trouble. So we build a foundation so we get them some alternatives to do stuff so they stop doing all this foolishness. She did. I said, that's great. I said, what's the name of the foundation? So she told me. So I said, can I donate to it right now? She said, you want to do that? I said, of course. You're doing something that makes sense. I'm down with that. So this is what theory of mind, because I'm thinking, what's important to Inga? So once I found out what was important to her and it lined up with my own values, I said, okay, let me give to it then. All right. Now I'm about to pay them to do some work for me. Before I even pay them to do the work for me, I want to contribute to what they already doing. Theory, are y'all getting what I'm saying? If you ain't put TOM in the chat, if you ain't put Tom in the chat right now, you get rich off of Tom. Tom is theory of mind. Get out of your head and get into the head of your counterparts. Are you listening to me? Tom, TOM, theory of mind. It's a big deal. Man, so we worked together and they got all those things off of the title. They got 380 some $1,000 worth of liens off of the title. Okay. And we only ended up having to pay like $40,000. And I made $100,000 on a house that somebody gave me. Why? Because of theory of mind. Not trying to get nothing out of the person, just trying to figure out what's going on with the person, and then earnestly just get in where you fit in. You hear what I'm saying? So that's number 6, theory of mind. And then finally, the last one um, is number 7 is move fast. So excuse me. So Let's go back real quick to make sure that you all got all 7 of them. Rewind this tape. If you're not subscribed on the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, because this is a library of training tips. And today's library is 7 ways to go from little money to big money. Get on the other side of big money. So go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, Rick the Wealth Coach on YouTube, so that you can have it. So anytime you want to say, hey, I want to teach you, I want to take you to a free site and teach you about life and to teach you about money to your kids, your colleagues, whoever it is that you work for. You can make millions of dollars with your whole office just bringing them over here and teaching them stuff you ain't never heard in your life, because this ain't no refried beans and you know it. All right. This ain't stuff you just hear people talking about every day. Why? Because we got a special anointing on us and we know it. That's why we give you fresh stuff at least a couple of times a week to bless you, bless your companies, bless your business, bless your life. If I don't never see you another day in my life, if I don't never see you in the flesh, I want your life to be blessed. Did you hear what I said? If I don't never see you in the flesh, I want your life to be blessed. I want your life to be blessed. I want your life to be blessed. That's why I'm on here talking to you today. That's 100% of my motivation. We might get to know each other from a business perspective, or maybe not. We'll never have to see each other. But I'm telling you, if you practice these principles, you're going to go out and make a whole lot of money. You hear what I'm talking about? So, so go to Rick the Wealth Coach on YouTube, and then and then subscribe so you can get these videos. All right. So the last one is move fast, and we got to move fast because I got another class I got to teach in 5 minutes. Okay. So the number one thing that actually makes me make money is that as soon as it's time for me to make a decision, I got a 5-second rule. In 5 seconds, I just make up my mind I'm gonna do it. And then you know what? All the pressure's off, because now I know ain't nobody about to beat me to the money. See, if you don't move fast, people beat you to the money, because you're like, man, let me think about that. I'm like, you've been thinking about that for 35 years. They're like, let me think about that. They're like, hey, Miss Haiti, how you doing, dear? I'll see you in Atlanta in a couple of days. All right. Be like, hey, let me think about that. Let me think about this. Let me think about that. But you know what it really is let me not do nothing. See, because people think when they make a decision, when they say I'm not going to do anything, they say, well, I just haven't made a decision yet. Like, you did make a decision. You just decided not to do nothing. But don't lie and say that I haven't made a decision. Just say I decided not to do nothing, because either you do something or you don't. And it's so easy to pass up. It's so easy to pass up all the competition, because it ain't no competition. Because 99% of the world gonna live and die and ain't gonna do nothing. They're gonna live, they're gonna die on the other side. You can't be waiting on the crowd, because the crowd ain't got no money, and the crowd ain't gonna never have no money. Hey, listen to me. Don't you sit around here thinking that's gonna happen. That is not gonna happen. The crowd don't do nothing but talk. Yak 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 yak. By the time they make up their mind they're gonna do something, you done bust 10 moves already. Are you hearing me? That's why I don't mess around with people who slow, don't want to do something the next day and all. I'm like, hey, do what you want to do. All right, because I'm just putting it out there, and you do it, it'll make the most sense to you. And bottom line is that I'm gone. I'll see you later. Okay. Here we are working on a second and the third year of making bank deposits to get our money back. I talked to people 3 years ago. They didn't believe what I was telling them. Why? Because they didn't believe you can get your money back from the bank. I'm just giving you one example of what I'm talking about. They didn't believe that you can get your money back from the bank. So they just didn't believe it. I'm like, well, you don't have to believe it. All right. I just, I catch up with you later. All right. But when you see me, I'm going to be on the other side of money. You can stay on this side of money if you want to. All right. But I'm going to be on the other side of money. So I just want to commend all of you all who make moves. 5-second rule. 5-second rule. Make up your mind in 5 seconds you're going to do something. All right. Do it. Get paid as you go. Learn as you go. That's how you get rich. Nobody gets rich because you learned everything. They say, man, as soon as I learn it, I'll do it. I'm like, no, as soon as you do it, you'll learn it. Because you don't learn nothing that you don't do. And as simple as that is, 99% of the world operate up under that delirium, actually thinking I'm going to do it after I learn it. I'm like, you can't do nothing after you learn it. You got to learn it. You got to do it to learn it. You hear what I'm saying? So you all have a beautiful day today. Be blessed in the city. Be blessed in the field. We're about to go to the Black History Museum here in Washington, D.C. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. We appreciate your prayers around the world. Thank God that the planes, that they only land when it's time to land. You all be blessed in the city, be blessed in the field. I love you all. Ain't nothing you can do about that. And remember, that stellar is as stellar does. Have an awesome day. All right. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. You're welcome.